talking with aurn today. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you after all this time.
After all this time, but now you are leading a movement.
Right, the iconic, my hero, Reverend Jesse Jackson, who has meant so much to so many of us and will continue to, blew my mind when he started talking to me a few years back about succeeding him. And then in April, he just put the full court press on until finally I just had to say, I give up.
So let's talk about that. What role, we're 60 years later, the agenda is basically the same. But the church was at the forefront then. What do you see the role where the church should be now? And in this new position, what is it that you want to, what is the energy that you want to bring?
Yeah, well, first I think it's heartbreakingly sad that with all of the sacrifices, the lives that were lost and cost, trying to pay for this country to have real authentic justice and freedom, that we basically find ourselves now fighting for many of the same rights that we fought for 60 years ago. And I'll say this, it is so vital that if the black church is to be relevant, that it partners with a young generation that is killing it in these streets and expressing authentic spirituality by recognizing my spiritual connection ought to have some socio-economic and political consequences. And if we connect and partner and embody that kind of faith, I believe we can truly bring to pass what Dr. King dreamt about and what this young generation is fighting for. So for me, it's about partnership. And so when I think about Rainbow Push going forward, it's going to be about economic justice, educational equity, engagement in the political process, and now we better be on the front lines fighting against environmental racism and against climate change.
Absolutely. Lastly, I was watching an interview that Dr. King did a few years after the march, in that he expressed, looking back at his dream that he expressed, he said, I led it with a lot of optimism, but I'm trying to look at it with some more realism at this point, because there were some things he was saying that were scaring him. When you look at the upcoming election, what is it that keeps you up at night?
It's frightening because Dr. King was reflecting on what's in the DNA of this country is an entrenched white supremacy that every time we take steps forward, they want to push us back, because it's almost as if they believe that what works for us is going against them, when what works for us blesses the whole country. The '64 Civil Rights Bill, it blessed not just us, it blessed the country. Voting Rights Bill, it blessed the country. Housing Bill, it blessed the nation. And so, but there's always been this mindset that our progress is regress for those who are, upholders of white supremacy. And so instead of this country truly living out, being one, there's a faction in this country that basically says it's all about what's white that's right. And so they look forward to those who embody that mindset. And so the governor of Florida and the governor of Texas, they're trying to outdo each other in their bid for being the grand wizard of their respective parties. And if they can be seen as the ones who are holding down black, brown, and poor people, they are lifted up as demagogues by their party. And we saw that with the twice impeached, 4-time indicted, vanquished ex-president who basically ran on racism. And that racism formed a cult around him that he tapped into. And so that's what keeps me up at night, and that is this country really real when it comes to, are we going to be a democracy of liberty and justice for all, or are we going to continue to wage war on those we brought here against their will, and now we're lying about what we did to them through historicide, Jacob Carruthers called it. And that keeps me up at night. It keeps me up at night to think about the fact that our kids are going to schools where they're being taught lies. Our kids are going to schools where And Carter Woodson said this. He said that lynching would not take place on Southern trees if it did not start in the classrooms. And so I see it going on right now, a lynching in the classrooms, setting the stage for lynching in the streets.
Well said. Thank you so much. And we wish you just the best of luck and blessings in this new position. Thank you so much.
Thank you.